I came back home from deployment and found my wife in bed with another man. Being in love is arguably one of the most beautiful things in life, but it is also one of the most perilous. I understand that life is all about taking chances. As a private, I joined the Marines. I'm now a corporal. I busted but I'm still here. I wanted to be a Marine for the rest of my life, or so I thought. I'm in a difficult situation. My wife and I married 3 years ago. I was madly in love with her when I married her. She made me happy with everything she did. I adored how she looked at me, how she smiled, laughed, and played with her hair. Now, I'm not sure whether I still adore her. I was on deployment for 8 months. Now, while I was at the base, my brothers would often remind me that women only married soldiers for the advantages. You know, things like benefit payments, healthcare, education, vacations, and so forth. They claim spouses become lonely when we deploy and bring a pal home while I'm here. I didn't pay attention to any of this, did I? Isn't it not true of all women? Well, I'm not sure and more. It's not my position to suggest that every woman is now like this. When I returned home, I had to fly for 12 hours. I was desperate to see my folks. A wife and a lovely princess. Being apart from my child is like being hit in the gut a billion times till I see her again. Despite this, I was always conversing with her. I step inside, believing they are present. There was no one at home, as far as I could tell. I sat down and waited for them. I called my wife, but she did not answer. There is no text, nothing. I walked into the kitchen and heard several thumps. It sounds like it's coming from the basement. I heard a man groaning as I opened the door. I make my way down silently. It helped that we had a really soft, furry-like carpet. Also, wow, I found my wife kissing someone I went to high school with. We weren't best buddies or anything, but we were acquainted. This seemed unbelievable to me. I don't play this garbage anymore, so I hopped on the bed and beat this dude. Not in the way that other males do, but it was enough to inflict him a black eye and a split lip. He was well aware that she was my wife. He was aware that I was absent. Wife was yelling at him not to strike him, that she is really sorry. My house has been at base since that time. This house is nothing more than a collection of destroyed memories. My brothers were correct about marriage and specifically about my wife. I will never trust my wife again, and if I divorce, I want to remain a Marine, which implies that marrying again would be a waste of time. We are, in fact, still married. This was not a long time ago. I regret remaining with her on a daily basis. When she grins at me, I simply look away, and when she embraces me, I just look away, placing one arm over her. I turn my head when she attempts to kiss me. Our favorite part was trying something we'd never eaten before. We would go to distant states only to dine at the best restaurants. We hadn't done it since before I departed for Asia. I'm just no longer in love. When I mention divorce, she leaps on me and apologizes profusely, shedding phony tears. That she will never do such a thing again. That she cares for me. She admitted to sleeping with him 3 times. I know I'm all over the place, so throughout my absence, she only slept with him 3 times. Okay. To be honest, I think I should be nominated for most distant spouse. She to me, telling me she misses me, and that what she did was a mistake. That she'll go to any length to keep us the same as before. We don't dispute, yet we're more separated than adversaries. She is always recommending that we visit a therapist. All they'll do is tell us to make up. I'm not doing anything that entails touching her or establishing eye contact for more than a second. That is why I will not be attending. I was unconcerned about my daughter. She has a striking resemblance to me. She has my ears, eyes, and hair color. I don't need a DNA test. Even though she wasn't mine, she was my life. I would never abandon her. She is the reason I am not divorcing and ending my marriage. At the base, one of my brothers didn't slap me in the face. I recall them stating that if you come home and find your wife in bed with someone else, we'll claim we told you so. But he didn't say it. Instead, he added, I'm wrecking my life with the wrong person. He said that if I do not divorce, I would be unhappy when I may meet someone wonderful. Sure thing. I simply want to return home. However, because to the epidemic, this will not be possible. I offer everyone a blessing and ask that they keep safe indoors. Story 2. Did I accidentally kinda cheat on my boyfriend? Should I tell him? I've been dating my boyfriend, male 27, for 5 months. He has a 3-year-old kid with his ex, and they divorced a year ago. It seemed strange at first for me. His kid is wonderful, and I don't mind having her around. but it was strange to see his ex in the photo since I had never dated someone with a kid and my boyfriends normally choose not to contact their exes. I used to feel envious that she got to see him and communicate with him more often than I did since they shared custody of a kid. I eventually got accustomed to it, and now everything is okay. However, approximately 2 months into our relationship, something occurred that I sometimes think about. I was photographing him with his phone when he received a message from her. I attempted to dismiss the notice but ended up accessing it and seeing that it was a selfie. Their daughter was nowhere to be found. It was just a selfie taken at work, I informed him. I'm sorry I accidentally opened this message, he said as he handed him his phone to express his regret. When I saw her, I was jealous to the extreme, but I resolved not to act on my feelings. I rationalized with myself by reminding myself that they had a kid and that it was wonderful that they were pleasant and that I just needed to get over it. I tried my hardest, but over the next few days, I couldn't shake the memory of the selfie, which made me feel terrible about myself. A friend's birthday party was taking place that weekend, so I went along. My friend's boyfriend was there, as well as a guy I had been friends with benefits with before meeting my partner. It had been 8 months since anything had happened between us, and we'd only ran into each other a couple of times since then, but we'd acted as if we were regular friends. As a result of our intoxication, several of us ended up on a couch, where we made a snuggling pile. He massaged my hair, which was a fantastic feeling, and I also cuddled with this ex-FWB. I pondered taking a step back for a split second, but then I recalled that I was merely cuddling with some good friends. In my mind, the fact that my boyfriend and I hadn't been dating for that long made it appropriate to cuddle with a previous FWB in a public place where nothing awful could happen. I ended up missing my ride home, and since he was traveling in the same way as me, he offered to pick me up and bring me back. I agreed since he explained that he needed to transport someone else home. However, by the time we reached to his car, the other guy had left, and it was just the two of us left there. He pulled up to my home and made an unsuccessful effort to kiss me. I put my finger to his lips and informed him that we couldn't go on with it since I was dating someone else at the time. "Oh, that's right," he said, chuckling, and then he tried to kiss me once again. My gentle interruption was followed by the words, "No, really," to which he responded, "Okay, all right." We kissed each other farewell and I headed back home. Nothing happened, but it was on the verge of happening, and the next day, sober, I wondered whether I was to blame and had allowed it to go this far because I was jealous of the selfie I had seen. I was no longer jealous of the selfie, which was a pleasant surprise. The incident never came up in conversation with my companion, and I soon forgot about it. Our relationship is going well, and I don't think about what happened all that much any more than necessary. But every now and again, I remember it and get an odd sensation. I'm not sure whether or not I should tell him, but I also don't want to lose his trust over something so little that it would never happen again now that my feelings for him have become stronger. Aside from that, we didn't even kiss. Considering the circumstances, should I tell my spouse the truth about what happened? Should I just forget about it and focus on the future? What do you think?